When inflation hits a 40-year high or the S&P 500 slides into a bear market, your brain doesn't see a financial trend. It sees an immediate physical threat. Your biology kicks in with a single, overwhelming mandate: protect yourself. Behavioral economists call this mechanism loss aversion. Decades of research show that the psychological pain of losing $1 is twice as severe as the pleasure of gaining one. The fear of shrinking numbers overrides all rational thought. This bias sabotages our portfolios in two distinct ways. First, it makes us hold on to dropping assets far longer than mathematically logical. If a stock you bought for $50 drops to $35, selling means accepting the loss. Holding on, even against expert consensus, creates the illusion that a recovery is still possible. Second, when the pain of market volatility gets too high, investors flee entirely. We sell off our portfolios and retreat to the perceived absolute safety of a traditional bank account, desperate to see a number that stops moving down. By retreating to cash, we satisfy our biological instinct for safety. But that retreat locks in losses and triggers a mechanism that silently destroys wealth. When you look at a traditional savings account, the balance stays flat, or maybe creeps up by a few pennies a month. Your brain reads that tiny upward movement as progress and security. It feels safe because the number never drops. But this animated diagram shows what is actually happening. With a standard long-term inflation rate of 3%, $100 in purchasing power shrinks. What costs $100 today will cost $103 next year. Your cash is losing ground, year after year, completely on autopilot. And as we see here, taxes compound the damage. Let's say you earn a decent 2.5% interest yield, but you sit in a 50% marginal tax bracket. Half of your yield goes straight to the government. You keep 1.25%. Subtract our 2% inflation rate, and your real return is entirely negative. Economists explain this using the Fisher equation, a principle showing how nominal interest rates, inflation, and taxes interact. The math proves that standard low-interest bank accounts cannot outpace the combined drag of rising prices and income tax. A traditional savings account guarantees financial loss by functioning as a hidden, silent tax on your purchasing power. In institutional finance, sitting on uninvested money is called cash drag. Every dollar sitting idle is a dollar missing out on compound growth, which creates massive opportunity cost over a lifespan. This timeline illustrates the rule of 72, a formula showing how long it takes an investment to double. You divide 72 by your expected interest rate. At the stock market's historical 10% average, your money doubles in about 7.2 years. At a 3.5% savings rate, it takes over 20 years. If you need to hold cash, there are better options than traditional banks. Major American banks pay as little as 0.01%. On the other side, high-interest savings account funds, or cash ETFs, currently offer yields between 4 and 5% by pooling deposits at major institutions. Moving your cash to a high-yield ETF is a massive improvement, but there is a critical caveat. These accounts are liquid parking lots. They are designed for accessibility, not compound wealth creation. A cash ETF acts as a financial tourniquet. It slows the bleeding caused by inflation, but it will not provide the aggressive growth required to actually build a secure retirement. To beat loss aversion, we have to stop treating all our cash the same way. Financial planners use a total portfolio approach, which means giving distinct jobs to different buckets of your money. Job 1 is the emergency fund. This requires taking 3 to 6 months of living expenses and parking it in a highly liquid cash ETF or high-yield savings account. This bucket functions as psychological insurance against job loss or medical emergencies. We accept that it might lag behind inflation because its purpose is immediate stability rather than growth. Job 2 is wealth building. Once your emergency fund is capped, every additional dollar needs to be deployed into the market. This is where we force ourselves to ignore biological panic and rely on the math. This long-term area chart tracks equity performance against inflation and taxes. While cash and bonds often struggle to clear these dual hurdles, the equity curve shows a consistent historical trend of real growth over multi-decade horizons, averaging returns that significantly outpace rising costs. The easiest way to execute this strategy is automation.
Setting up automatic transfers into index funds removes the daily decision-making process, completely bypassing your biological fear of loss. By understanding how our brains react to market fear, we can separate our emotional need for safety from our logical need for growth. Protect your short-term needs with cash alternatives, deploy the rest into the market, and put